The Industrial Revolution affected about everyone. It was a major turning point in history. There are changes in agriculture, manufacturing, mining, transportation, and technology. In many ways, the Industrial Revolution was a very good thing. With the new, faster transportation that was introduced during this time, trade was easier, so that brought in a lot more money and other goods. The average income of a worker increased, and more jobs opened up, so there were less unemployed people. Nobel Peace Prize winner Robert Lucas Jr. said, "For the first time in history, the living standards of the masses of ordinary people have begun to undergo sustained growth. Nothing remotely like this economic behavior has happened before." The Industrial Revolution was great for many people, but not so great for some.
Now I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke. Now I ain't saying she a gold digger.
Josiah Carey is an example of an artisan during the Industrial Revolution. An artisan is a person who cares a lot about their work and what they value what they do their work in. Josiah was a master cabinet maker. He loved his work and began in it when he was very young because his father and grandfather were both in the business. Josiah worked hard all of his life till he was 22 when he received the title of a master craftsman. As an artisan in cabinet making, Josiah began as an apprentice in his father's shop when he was 11. When he was 18, he finished his first masterpiece, which showed his skills. Because of this, he was awarded with the status of journeyman. A few years later, he applied to the local cabinet makers society to try to get admission to the mastership of his craft. That is what an artisan does. They try to keep improving their work till it is perfect so they can receive the title of a master craftsman. Artisans value their work and they care deeply about the quality of their work, so it takes quite a while for them to finish their masterpieces. In a small shop like the one Josiah worked in during this time, the workers were treated very well. Every worker was treated with respect and cared about. If someone got sick, the wife of the business owner might even take care of the employee. When orders came in, the tasks that needed to be done were given to the workers based on their skill level. The owner of the shop would work alongside of his employees to make sure they were doing their work well and that the piece was of very high quality. Artisans' work was held to a very high standard. No one in these small shops were rushed to finish a piece to make sure that the piece was perfect and met the very high standard. When someone would complete a masterpiece, there would sometimes be a celebration. When the shop had a lot of orders, the workers were expected to stay completely concentrated and focused on their work. But when there were less orders in the shopmates would just enjoy a less strenuous day and just repair things around the shop and talked among themselves. A businessman of the Industrial Revolution might say that the revolution is the best thing that has ever happened for all the world. It really was good in many ways because it made more jobs and got things done much faster. Things like the cotton gin improved cotton production by a lot. But for small business owners, the end of the Industrial Revolution was not so great. Small shops like the one that Josiah would have worked in would have had merchandise that is very expensive because it was also very high in quality. But the big factories made merchandise that was very cheap, but also not made as well as that as an artisan. The business owner of these industries only cared about money.
And you know it, take it out your pocket and show it, throw it, this away, that away, this away.
They thought the faster the better, and the more merchandise, the more money. That is why there are so many people who worked in these factories, because the businessmen wanted everything done faster. The working conditions in these big factories were very bad. The workers were overcrowded, underpaid, and worked way too many hours. Most of the workers were young kids between the ages of 12 and 16. These working conditions were so terrible that many people died while working at these factories. I think that, despite all the money that was made during this time, the Industrial Revolution was more harmful than helpful. The small businesses that valued their work were thrown aside when these big, greedy, money-hungry factories came in. Many people died in these factories because the working conditions were horrible. That is why I think the economy would have been better off in the long run if the small businesses grew and the big factories died out.
That French beat